This video is brought to you by our original design, Stop the Pignorance, and the thin blue line of tyranny. But don't get them because police don't like them. But if you wanted to get them, the link's in the description. Welcome to the world of prosecutorial immunity, where law enforcement offers plenty of perks. Break a policy? No problem. Commit a crime? Find yourself under investigation? Don't you worry. A paid vacation is waiting just for you. I just want to let you guys know, I am one of these people who want to believe they're good law enforcement agents, but for some reason, when I keep hearing stories like this, I get a different perspective.
3 of the top cops at the Atlanta VA Medical Center are suspended from police duty with pay.
Wait, top cops? Did he say top cops? Did he say top cops?
Wow, yeah, there's a really disturbing allegation.
Amid allegations of unacceptable behavior.
The VA cited multiple complaints, including one involving graphic details of an alleged sexual assault by the deputy police chief. Yet Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis says for years that deputy chief stayed on the job until now. Randy?
Wait a second. Unacceptable behavior and with pay should not appear in the same sentence.
That's right, Courtney and Russ. The police department at the VA provides law enforcement and security services at the main hospital in Decatur and several other VA clinics in metro Atlanta. They also use a private security company to carry some of the load. Shanika Jackson once worked for both. How soon after you got the job did you start having some issues with the deputy chief?
I noticed he was overly friendly with me. He would be standing behind me a lot, and I'm like, why is he always in here? Doesn't he have anything else to do?
A single mom and retired Air Force military.
Now, he doesn't have anything else to do when he's not overseeing road piracy operations and just harassing the general public. Well, he's got plenty of free time on his hands to look over your shoulder, ma'am.
Police officer Shanika Jackson applied to join the Atlanta VA Police Department in 2021. But after working months in dispatch, waiting for a slot to open for mandatory police academy training, she said she had to resign because the pandemic kept delaying the start of the class. According to the EEOC complaint she would eventually file, Jackson said Deputy Police Chief Johnny McCullough offered to help her get a job with the private security company at the Atlanta VA.
I tell you what. I'm going to use my power and I'm going to pull some strings and we're going to get you a position over there. Of course, when I pull some strings, there's going to be some strings attached to you. I'm going to expect something out of you, ma'am.
An offer, she says in her complaint, she was unaware came with some sexual strings attached.
I just remember one day he asked me to come into his office.
Just word to the wise, if anybody ever axes you to do anything, especially if it's a creepy cop, run!
He just told me, like, I told you it would cost you.
According to that complaint, the deputy chief exposed himself and encouraged Jackson to take part in a sexual act.
I'm like, whoa, 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 like this is not something I'm gonna do. But I got out of his office so quick. I remember seeing him adjust his pants back and I got out of there and I started crying hysterically.
The way I consider it, everybody is innocent until you can prove that they're guilty. I don't know if this guy actually did this or not, but wait till you see the rest of the story here. In my opinion, also, what I know about police departments, power doesn't just corrupt, it powerfully attracts the corruptible. And if this guy is corruptible, which if you make it to police chief or deputy police chief, you're pretty corruptible, I would not put it past him to use his power to advance his, shall we say, sexual pleasures.
Tell anyone you want to. They'll never believe you.
It's confirmed to EEOC investigators that Jackson confided in them shortly after the incident. But Jackson said she did not file an official complaint immediately.
I was fearful at the time because he had a lot of power.
But then came a misdirected text in January 2022. Thinking she was texting a friend, Jackson says she accidentally sent this to McCullough. Snakes only get so far. In her complaint, she says McCullough went to her boss and asked that she be fired.
I told him, like, hey, this man has been harassing me for the longest, and y'all are trying to fire me for him.
She was ultimately...
She's not submitting to my authoritized, so we got to get rid of her. She can't be in this department. This further solidifies why you always record the police, even if you're part of the police at the time, because it's going to be your word against his, and you definitely want something on video, something on audio to prove your assertion, because they will come out against you.
Demoted and transferred. When she failed to show up for work, the private security company fired her. They denied McCullough played any role in the decision. Only after she was fired in April 2022 did Jackson file her complaint with the EEOC. And when McCullough met with EEOC investigators, he denied every one of Jackson's claims.
Of course he did. Why wouldn't he? Cops, as we've found out in the past, and we keep finding out, are trained to lie and engage in deceptive practices. Do you ever expect, and again, I'm not saying he's guilty and everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but what have we seen in the past? Especially cops, that slice of humanity who enjoys qualified immunity has no problem lying on the stand, lying in the street. If you lie to them, they treat that as a felony. If they lie to you, well, that's just policy.
So, she said it happened, he said it did not. Jackson's EEOC complaint was dismissed before either had a chance to prove they were telling the truth. She's filed an appeal. But there's a third angle to this she said, he said story. It's what the VA Internal Affairs investigation said.
Now, this is interesting.
In July 2022, the VA's Office of Senior Security Officer conducted its own investigation into Jackson's claims. The Fox 5i team obtained this copy through the Freedom of Information Act. After interviewing...
You know what? Good for the VA. The VA shouldn't have hired these people in the first place, and all this trouble and all this nonsense that comes from corrupt police departments. But you gotta give it to them for taking it one step further with this investigation on this corrupt seemingly corrupt chief deputy.
Multiple witnesses. It was repeated throughout interviews that McCullough had a romantic interest in Jackson. The report said McCullough admitted to special agents that he gave Jackson money, texted her outside of working hours because he wanted to help Jackson.
Now, if he did text her, here's a question I have. If he did text her outside of working hours, then why didn't Jackson just produce that from her side? She could show when she was making her complaint, here are the texts that I got from this guy. She could have actually written text back to get him to step more into the bear trap, so to speak.
As a single parent, a statement investigators find not credible. And as far as Jackson's allegation of McCullough exposing himself, staff described him as vindictive, condescending, toxic, and as having a reputation as a womanizer.
That's coming from his own staff. If his own staff is saying that, then that diminishes his credibility and increases her credibility as she brings this case to the forefront.
Investigators did draw certain conclusions that would support Jackson's reports as being accurate and truthful. So you must have been pretty pleased to see this report.
Absolutely.
Did you expect that this would result in him being removed from his job?
I did.
He was not. We shot this video a few months ago of McCullough at a firearms training course with Police Chief Beverly Banks. The VA suspended Chief Banks, Deputy Chief McCullough, and a third person due to employee complaints and allegations of unacceptable behavior.
Suspended is not fired. And when you get pay as you're suspended, you're just on a vacation. And in the meantime, they could go to other police departments. If they don't lose their law enforcement certification, they can go to another police department, even as close to as right down the road. Speaking of right down the road, we were talking about this is in Decatur, Georgia, and right down the street, about 20 minutes, is Cop City in Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be, in my estimation, in my opinion, Cop City is going to be a cesspool for increased corruption in that place,
including allegations of sexual assault and harassment. We are treating these allegations with the utmost seriousness and are moving aggressively to investigate them, and will take swift and appropriate action. Reached by phone, McCullough said he had no comment. Chief Banks did not respond to our questions. The VA has already appointed an acting chief and an acting deputy chief, and they say that they're sending a national team, including the senior security officer, to make recommendations for the three who are currently suspended with pay. day.
Wow.
And if Jackson had just gotten everything on video, at least get everything on audio, she could have covered herself. She could have made this investigation way easier, and she could have exposed this so-called snake.
Oh, yeah, there's a really disturbing allegations, and she was fired back in 2022. But the VA is saying that they're taking this seriously. Did they explain why they didn't take action 2 years ago?
That was our first question a couple weeks ago, Courtney, is, was Deputy Chief McCullough disciplined at all 2 years ago after that internal affairs report came out that raised questions about his credibility? We never got an answer to that question. Instead, we got a statement saying that he was suspended now and that they've launched an investigation. Another one.
So he's been allowed to go unabated for the last 2 years. And now he's still with the department, just under suspension and collecting a paycheck, a tax cattle funded paycheck, mind you. And he doesn't have to do anything for it. So what do you think? Do you think Deputy Police Chief Johnny McCullough is guilty of what Jackson says he did? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like these videos, these commentary videos, maybe you'll like some of my others. One of the best things you can do to support this channel is absolutely free. Just subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with everybody you know, subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a hard-hitting shirt from the store, become a channel member, but more importantly, know what your rights are, and always, I mean always, record the police. Even if you think they're the good guys, even if they're joking around with you, even if you think, this guy can't do anything bad to me, always record them. You will always be glad that you did. I will see you in the next video.